Welcome back to Everyday English Learning, where we find calm in the middle of language learning.
Hello everyone, I'm Jake.
And I'm Lily. Today, we are talking about getting lost inside a story.
I have my coffee ready. I definitely need it today.
Is it one of those days where your brain feels a bit tired?
Exactly. I tried reading a short English story last night before bed.
Let me guess. It was not a very relaxing bedtime story.
It started great, but by page 3, I completely lost the plot.
That is such a common, frustrating feeling.
I saw 5 words I did not know, and suddenly I forgot who was talking.
And then you start feeling like you are failing at reading.
Right? I closed the book and just felt disappointed with my English.
We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to understand every single detail.
But a story stops being fun when it feels like a heavy test.
That is why today, we are going to talk about reading without confusion.
I would love to just enjoy a story without stopping every 2 minutes.
You can. And you do not need to catch every single word today either.
Just follow the feeling of our conversation.
Exactly. Useful phrases for talking about reading will appear naturally as we chat.
And we have our meaning moments section near the end, right?
Yes, we will review the best everyday phrases there.
I am ready to stop fighting with my books and start actually enjoying them.
We approach reading in a second language with a very specific, very heavy mindset.
Yeah, the student mindset.
Exactly. We sit down with a story, but our brain thinks it is preparing for a test.
I definitely do that. I have the book open in one hand and my phone ready to translate in the other.
And every time you stop to look up a word, you break the magic of the scene.
I do. I am reading about a dramatic mystery, and suddenly I am just reading a dictionary definition.
But if you do not look it up, you probably feel like you are doing something wrong.
Yes, I feel like I am being lazy or missing the whole point.
That is the core problem right there.
Wait, wanting to understand the words is a problem?
Wanting to understand every single word immediately is the problem.
That feels completely opposite to how we usually learn a language.
It is. So, let's use a mental picture to make this clearer.
Okay, I am ready.
Think of a story like a large, beautiful painting in a museum.
I have a painting in my mind.
When you read like a student, it is like looking at that painting through a microscope.
Oh, wow, that makes a lot of sense.
You see the exact color of one tiny dot of paint.
But you completely lose the actual picture.
Right. You know the paint is blue, but you do not know if you are looking at a sky or an ocean.
That is exactly how I felt last night.
You get bogged down in the small details.
Get bogged down?
Yeah, it means you get stuck in the heavy, difficult parts of something, and you cannot move forward.
Like trying to walk through deep mud in heavy shoes.
Exactly. When you get bogged down in the vocabulary, the story stops moving.
And then I just feel tired. My coffee gets cold, and I put the book away.
Because you are doing two difficult tasks at the exact same time.
Reading and translating?
Yes, experiencing art and doing a strict translation exercise.
I never thought about it like that.
They use completely different kinds of mental energy.
So, I have to choose one?
When you want to enjoy a story, yes, you have to put the microscope away and step back.
But what if I miss something important?
Tell me more about that feeling.
What if that one unknown word changes the meaning of the whole scene?
That is a very real fear for language learners.
It really is. I get scared I will lose the thread of the story entirely.
Losing the thread is a great way to say it.
It feels like the plot is slipping out of my hands.
And the irony is, stopping to translate is what actually makes you lose the thread.
Really?
Yes, because human memory works through flow, rhythm, and emotion, not isolated words.
So by focusing too hard on one sentence, I am making it harder to remember the whole chapter.
Exactly. You are breaking the natural rhythm of your own brain.
That stings a little, but it feels very true.
If this kind of shift in mindset helps you feel calmer with English, you are definitely in the right place.
We are trying to build a much softer way to live with English here.
So, the goal is to shift from studying the story to simply tolerating the mystery.
Tolerating the mystery? That sounds a bit philosophical.
It just means being okay with not knowing everything immediately.
That is really hard for adults. We like to be in control of our environment.
We do. We want the world to be clear, safe, and predictable.
Especially when we are already feeling insecure about our language skills.
Exactly. The dictionary feels like a safety net.
Yes, it tells me I am not failing.
But relying on it too much turns a relaxing evening into unpaid work.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Unpaid work on my own couch.
Which is why we need to learn how to read without that heavy net.
I am starting to understand the problem, but I still feel a bit nervous to let go.
That is completely okay. The first step is just noticing that you are holding the microscope.
I can definitely see the microscope now. I just need to figure out how to put it down.
Putting the microscope down sounds easy until you actually try it.
Right, because my hand automatically reaches for my phone.
It is a very strong physical habit.
I see a new word, and I feel a sudden panic.
The panic of missing a crucial detail.
Yes, like the story will collapse if I do not translate it.
So you open the dictionary app.
And suddenly I am no longer inside the story.
You broke the magic of the scene to find a definition.
But how do I stop? The unknown word is just sitting there.
Let's put this into a real situation.
Okay, I am sitting on my couch with my book.
You are reading a scene about a detective in a kitchen.
I love a good mystery.
The sentence says, he angrily chopped the, and then there is a word you do not know.
See? That drives me crazy. What did he chop?
Your instinct is to translate that noun immediately.
Of course. It could be important evidence.
But let's tolerate the mystery for a second.
Okay, it is hard, but I am trying.
What do you actually know about this scene already?
Well, I know he is in a kitchen.
Exactly.
And I know he is angry, and he is chopping something.
You have the emotion and the action.
So the exact vegetable does not matter right now.
Right. It could be an onion or a carrot.
The point is his anger, not his salad.
You just pieced it together perfectly.
Pieced it together?
Yes. You used the parts you understood to build the whole picture.
That feels much more natural than stopping to translate.
It is how native speakers read too.
Wait, really? Native speakers skip words?
Yes. Sometimes we skip a highly technical word or an old phrase.
But you do not stop reading.
No, we just get the gist and keep moving forward.
Getting the gist means understanding the general idea, right?
Exactly. You accept a slightly blurry picture.
I like that, but I still worry about guessing wrong.
Tell me what happens if you guess wrong.
What if the detective was not chopping a vegetable?
Okay, let's follow that worry.
What if he was chopping something dangerous, and I totally missed it?
That is a fair fear when you are learning.
It reminds me of talking to people in real life.
In what way?
Someone says a fast sentence, and I miss one word.
And you start to panic internally.
Yes, I just smile and nod, but inside I am terrified.
You are afraid you misunderstood the whole conversation.
Exactly. We carry that social fear into our quiet reading time.
We really do, but a book is much safer than a party.
That is true. The book is not going to judge me for nodding.
And if that unknown word is truly important, the author will mention it again.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Good writers do not hide the plot in one difficult word.
If it is the murder weapon, they will mention it in the next chapter.
Exactly. The story will naturally correct your blurry picture later.
That brings up a practical problem, though.
What is the problem?
If I just skip words and guess the gist, am I actually improving my English?
That is a very common objection.
It feels a bit like cheating to just skip things.
It is not cheating. It is just a different mode of learning.
A different mode?
Yes. Think of it like physical exercise.
Okay, I am listening.
Sometimes you lift heavy weights to build muscle.
That is when I study grammar and memorize vocabulary lists.
Right. That is your intensive study mode.
It is hard work, but it makes me stronger.
But you cannot lift heavy weights all day long.
No, I would collapse from exhaustion.
Sometimes you just need to go for a long, easy walk.
To enjoy the weather and stretch your legs.
Reading a story for pleasure is the long walk.
So I am still using my English muscles, but I am not straining them.
Exactly. You are building language endurance.
I am getting comfortable with the rhythm of the language.
And you are teaching your brain not to panic when it sees something new.
That is a huge shift in mindset.
It changes how you approach the page.
I always thought every time I opened an English book, it had to be a heavy workout.
No wonder you were getting tired by page 3.
My brain was completely exhausted.
Because it was doing too much work at once.
Okay, but what if the picture is too blurry?
That is an important boundary to set.
Let's say I skip half the words on the page.
If you are skipping that much, you are not reading anymore.
I am just staring at paper.
Right. The book is simply too heavy for today.
Which feels like a failure.
It is not a failure. It is just useful data.
It tells me to find a slightly easier story.
Yes. The unknown words should be small bumps, not brick walls.
That takes a lot of the pressure off.
You can choose a book that actually fits your walking pace.
And I can finally finish my coffee while I read.
So, let's think about your practical plan for tonight.
When I sit down on my couch with that mystery book again,
Exactly. How are you going to handle the urge to translate?
I think I need to leave my phone in the kitchen.
That is actually a very smart physical boundary.
If my dictionary app is in another room, I will probably just keep reading.
Because the physical distance breaks the automatic habit.
Yeah, but I know myself. I will still feel a little guilty.
Tell me more about that guilt.
Ignoring a new word feels like I am throwing away a chance to learn.
That is a very common feeling for language learners.
We are always told to expand our vocabulary every single day.
But reading for pleasure is not throwing away your learning.
It just feels like I am being a bad student.
That brings up a really important limitation to this whole idea.
We cannot just ignore every single new word forever, right?
Right. The goal is not to stop learning vocabulary entirely.
That would be taking it way too far.
The goal is to choose when you study, instead of letting the book interrupt you constantly.
So I am taking control of the interruptions.
Yes, you can read a whole chapter just to enjoy the story.
And just accept the blurry parts for a while.
Exactly. You try to fill in the blanks using the context around the word.
Fill in the blanks?
Yes. Use the words you already know to guess the missing information.
Like guessing the detective is chopping a vegetable, not a car.
Perfect. You fill in the blanks without stopping the action.
But what if a word keeps appearing on every single page?
That is the perfect exception to the rule.
Okay, good. I really need a clear rule for this.
Try the rule of 3.
The rule of 3? How does that work?
If you see the same unknown word 3 times, and you still cannot guess it,
Then I am allowed to go to the kitchen and get my phone?
exactly, because at that point, the word is actually blocking the story.
It is no longer a small bump. It has become a brick wall.
And looking it up will finally give you relief.
I like that a lot. It feels like a fair compromise.
It is. You are contrasting 2 very different modes.
Reading for the plot versus reading for a test.
You separate the long walk from the heavy workout.
I can enjoy the story first, and maybe study a few words later.
You can keep a small notebook next to your couch.
Oh, so I just write the unknown word down and keep reading?
Yes, you capture the word on paper so your brain can let it go.
I like that. I do not have to solve the mystery immediately.
You gently tell your brain that you will look at it tomorrow.
And then I can just go right back to the detective in the kitchen.
Exactly. You are prioritizing the flow of the experience.
That is a very mature way to approach a second language.
It feels less like a strict classroom and more like real life.
Wait, this exact same pressure shows up in other ways too.
Where else do you feel it?
When I watch an English movie without subtitles,
Oh, that is a perfect example.
if I turn the subtitles off, I get that exact same panic.
Because you cannot pause the movie to look up a spoken word.
You just have to let the dialogue wash over you.
And trust that the actors' faces will help you fill in the blanks.
That is true. You can usually tell if someone is angry or happy,
We assume fluency means having 0 confusion.
which is an impossible standard for anyone to reach.
Fluency is actually just the ability to stay calm when you are confused.
Wow, that is a powerful way to look at it.
It applies to reading, watching movies, and real conversations.
When you panic, you lose the thread of the whole interaction.
But when you stay calm, you can usually figure it out from the context.
So the real skill is learning how to tolerate the mystery.
Exactly. And trusting that your brain will catch up eventually.
That is a huge relief for me.
It makes opening an English book feel safe again.
It really does. I actually want to go back to my mystery novel tonight.
Without the heavy microscope this time,
Just me, the couch, and a slightly blurry but interesting story.
I love that image.
I might still struggle a bit, but at least I have a plan now.
That is all you need for a good evening of reading.
So, earlier you mentioned we would review some useful phrases.
I did. We have covered some great everyday vocabulary today.
Words that describe this exact feeling of getting stuck.
Yes, it is the perfect time to look at them more closely.
I am ready.
I love that you are ready to look at these phrases more closely.
It feels like the perfect time.
We used some great expressions today that describe the physical feeling of reading.
And the emotional feeling of getting stuck.
Let's start with a phrase from earlier.
Okay, I am ready.
When you stop to translate every single noun, what happens?
I feel like I am completely stuck in the mud.
Yes, the phrase we used for that is to get bogged down.
Oh, right. It means you cannot move forward because something is pulling you down.
Exactly. A bog is an area of very wet, muddy ground.
So getting bogged down is a very physical image.
It is. In reading, you get bogged down in the heavy dictionary definitions.
It makes the book feel like a chore instead of relaxing.
It happens at work, too. You might get bogged down in small details before a big presentation.
Yeah, you spend 2 hours picking a font color instead of writing the speech.
That is a perfect everyday example. The details stop you from doing the real work.
I definitely get bogged down in English grammar rules sometimes.
We all do. Repeat. Get bogged down.
Get bogged down.
Now, when you get bogged down, something else happens to the story itself.
The plot just completely disappears from my mind.
That feeling has a great descriptive phrase. We call it losing the thread.
Like a physical thread on a piece of clothing?
Yes. Imagine a single string that connects the beginning of the story to the end.
Oh, I see. If you drop the string, you are lost in the maze.
Exactly. Losing the thread means you forget what is happening in the current moment.
Or you forget the main point of a conversation.
It happens to native speakers too. We lose the thread of a story if someone interrupts us.
That actually makes me feel a lot better.
It is very common. You can just say, "Sorry, I lost the thread of what you were saying."
That sounds so much more natural than saying, "I do not understand."
It is a very polite way to ask someone to remind you where the conversation was going.
I am definitely going to use that at work. It sounds very professional.
It really does. Repeat, lose the thread.
Lose the thread.
So, instead of losing the thread, what is our actual goal when reading for pleasure?
We want to understand the general idea without stopping to look at the microscope.
Yes. And the conversational way to say that is to get the gist.
Getting the gist means accepting that slightly blurry picture we talked about.
It does. You might not know the exact word for the vegetable in the kitchen.
But I get the gist that the detective is making a salad aggressively.
Exactly. You understand the core action and the emotion in the room.
It feels a bit like a superpower when you finally allow yourself to do it.
It is a huge step in language learning because you stop needing every sentence to be perfect.
You rely on the natural rhythm instead of the strict rules.
It is also great for listening to fast conversations in real life.
Because if you watch their face and listen to their tone, you can usually get the gist.
Perfect connection. Repeat. Get the gist.
Get the gist.
When you get the gist, your brain naturally does the next step.
Is that when we fill in the blanks?
Yes. Let's see if you can use it in a short sentence about watching a movie.
Okay, when I watch a movie without subtitles, I use the actor's face to fill in the blanks.
That is a completely natural sentence.
It just means using context to guess the missing information.
Exactly. You do not need the dictionary because the situation gives you the answer.
What if I fill in the blanks wrong, though?
That is a great question. Usually, the story naturally corrects you later in the chapter.
So it is okay to make a slightly wrong guess at first.
Yes. The risk of guessing wrong is much smaller than the risk of losing the thread entirely.
That is a really comforting thought for anyone reading in a second language.
Repeat. Fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks.
Which brings us to the final, most important shift we discussed today.
The philosophical one. We have to tolerate the mystery.
Yes, it is a beautiful phrase for learning a language, and for life in general.
It sounds very mature, like advice you would give to a worried friend.
It is. It means being comfortable with not having all the answers immediately.
Because the dictionary feels like a very safe net.
And tolerating the mystery means walking without that net for a little while.
It is hard to do that when you want everything to be perfectly clear.
It is hard, but it is the only way to actually enjoy a story.
You have to let the plot pull you forward, even when the details are blurry.
Exactly. Just breathe and trust the process.
I am going to write that phrase on my bookmark tonight to remind myself.
That is a wonderful idea. Repeat, tolerate the mystery.
Tolerate the mystery.
Before we wrap up, I have a question for you listening right now.
I always love this part.
What is one English book, article, or movie you want to try enjoying without looking up every word?
That is a great reflection question for today.
We would love to read about your choice in the comments.
I will be exploring my very blurry detective novel.
Leaving the dictionary behind is a big step, but it is truly worth it.
It really changes how you experience a second language.
You finally get to step back and just enjoy the story for what it is.
Even if the details are a little blurry at first.
And remember, tolerating the mystery is exactly how you build real confidence.
You are training your brain not to panic when it sees something new.
We are so excited to read your comments about the books or movies you want to try.
I am definitely going to open my mystery novel tonight.
Without your phone this time.
Right, the phone stays in the kitchen where it belongs.
Thank you for sitting down and sharing this quiet practice time with us today.
It is always nice to figure these hard things out together.
If you want more gentle language practice, you can always find us right here at Everyday English Learning.
We will be here with more coffee and more honest conversations.
I'm Lily.
And I'm Jake.
Take care, and we will talk to you soon.
Enjoy your reading, everyone.